So today marks our third week in Rome and my second time volunteering at the center. Today I had the opportunity to work in the kitchen and help serve breakfast. It was actually very cool to see how they distribute things, being in the kitchen beforehand and seeing how systematic everything was and how they make the tea in the big boilers and separating the eggs and the apples, and also how the man who works in the kitchen in the center is very, very clean and pristine, and he has a very, I think, clear pattern of how he does things. It's very systematic. Me and Shelby were joking how that kitchen is cleaner than our apartment kitchen. But he knows what he's doing, he's perfected it, and he's very good at what he does. He's also very sweet. It was also nice to see all the faces. I mean, when you walk down there, you don't really get to know everyone, but once they come up to the counter, it's a smile and a nod, or some people will say hello, but it's just kind of cool to have that exchange, or at least the interaction with most of the people in the center. After breakfast, I had the opportunity to go into a room with Stephanie, and she worked on CVs for the refugees, which is technically like their resume. They have like a format that they follow, and then the refugees come in and bring in their information, which is like their name, their work experience, different things like that. So it was really cool. I worked with a man who was from Nigeria. I want to say he was about 40, around 42. I think he was 10 years older than my parents, or 10 years younger than my parents. But he was very soft-spoken, very quiet. He spoke both English, Italian, and I want to say Yoruba was the dialect of his hometown, or where he was from. He was a very, very sweet man. He was very, very thankful that we were there to help him. He mentioned that when he just made like the list of his work experience, it took him like 6 hours on the computer just to like get it formatted and type it all out. And I was very happy that I was there to help him. Stephanie had me typing things, and it was harder on their keyboard because there's a couple letters and symbols that are different than a typical like American keyboard. So we were kind of laughing together, like trying to figure out how to use the computer. But he was super sweet. One of the things I did notice is like the position that he was applying for was a dishwasher, and he'd work at various restaurants. Most of them were in Finland. He has been in Italy for 6 years, so he's been moving around a lot. Didn't really get into why he left or what brought him to Italy. But again, I think it's touching the surface and kind of getting the breadth rather than the depth. But I think it'll slowly get there. I mean, he was very nice, very sweet, very open. The first experience that we went through were just dishwashing and kitchen assistants for various different restaurants, like I said. And then it was interesting to see the jobs that he used to have. Like, obviously, he's a very well-educated man. He knows a couple different languages, but he is applying for a dishwashing position here in Italy. It was kind of hard to see. He definitely has experience in the food industry and service industry, and I was trying to kind of dig deeper to see if he liked cooking or if he liked being in the kitchen, and he kind of just gave me shorter answers, but super friendly. The form was in Italian, so I was trying to type in Italian, just transfer the information over, and he was helping me translate what was written in Italian and English. So I was writing all these words and repeating them back to him to make sure they were correct. And I was like, well, what does that mean in English? I'm not really sure. And then he would giggle and tell me. And he was just very appreciative of us being able to help him. And I was very thankful that I was able to help him as well. I just started thinking about how this will help him in the future, and just like making sure that everything was perfect, because he kind of got a little special, he has a little special place in my heart now. He just very, very caring, and he was very soft-spoken, but in a way that was, I don't know, it's really, really hard to explain. I could just tell that he was so happy to be here, and he was so happy to get the help, and it kind of just made me feel good about being there. I know we're not doing this experience for ourselves. I'm not trying to make myself feel better because I volunteer, but I think that's just part of it. Is I did feel better because I was able to help him. There was also another man in the room. He was working with Stephanie. They were going through flashcards and drawings and stuff, and he was also from Nigeria. So they were communicating back and forth, and it's just kind of interesting to watch how they interact with each other. Obviously we're more focused on our own interactions, but just observing their interactions was also cool. They were both from Nigeria, obviously. They were joking. He's like, "Oh, where are you from?" And he said, "Where he's from?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, I could tell." And they were joking around and asked how long each other had been there. And I think it's just kind of cool. I think it has to be comforting to meet someone from your hometown or from your home country when you're kind of in a place that's unfamiliar. I know every time, actually I was thinking about this the other day. If I were to move to Italy or spend time here for over a long period of time, by myself or even with one other person, it would be so comforting to see another American and just be able to converse with them in a way that the two of you can only connect. So I was kind of just happy to be able to watch them. I didn't say much, I kind of just observed, so that was kind of a cool experience. We also had some formatting issues with the Word document, and we were trying to figure out how to realign the title, and we were telling him that it would probably take us 6 hours to figure it out. So he was very lighthearted, he was cool. He was a very cool guy, and I know cool is a lame word that I'm not supposed to use, but he was cool. And I hope that his CV is very helpful and useful to him in the future and gets him where he wants to be. There were a couple sections that were personal communication and personal just kind of attributes that you have, and I was explaining to him what did you learn in your jobs? And he's like, write something good, just write something good. And I was like, well, okay. So we talked about teamwork and learning how to communicate more efficiently in a kitchen and working together, and he was just the gratitude, and he was just ready to get out there and work. So it was a cool experience. I'm really happy that I was able to be in that room and kind of learn someone or get to know someone on a more personal level. I think next week I'm going to try and be in the distribution room because I haven't done that yet, and I want to maybe interact with more people on a deeper level, but that's not something you can push, so I'm going to be patient and just try to talk to as many people as I can.